try not to make it look like it's a haunted product. And so this is a very haunted looking product. I got crows on my creepy tree.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Why Bother, the podcast where we explore why creative makers bother doing things the hard way. I'm your host, Gareth Davies from Maker House, with our guest, Steve Morier from Split Tree Cocktail Company.
Thank you, Gareth. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. You begged me to be on.
Yeah, I did. When Gareth calls, you pick up the phone and you do whatever he says. Otherwise, you wake up with 4 flat tires and,
a dead horse
head in your bed. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're one of our OG makers at the shop.
Oh, that's true.
We go back to 2015 when we had our little pop-up shop. Yeah. And again, you were begging me to get your products in the store.
I do recall, camping out in front of the store. Please carry my cheap garbage product. That was like, God, why won't you do it? And then you finally submitted. Yeah, took pity. Exactly.
Yeah. And, ended up working out. We have a lot of customers who really like your products.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, it's good.
Very popular. Yeah. Good, so, you're welcome for that little lucky break.
The lucky break. Yeah, I do actually recall it slightly differently than that, but we'll go with your version.
We're going to kick it off with a fun segment we call, speaking of sound effects, Bother or Not Bother.
Okay.
So you tell me, bother or not bother, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Okay, go.
Here we go. Breakfast in the morning.
Not bother.
Okay. That explains your mood.
I'm busy. Yeah, I'm cranky now. You're right. I'm hungry. I should have bothered. I rarely do.
Video games.
Bother.
Okay. Yeah. Drinking tea.
Not bother. What? No.
Okay. Coffee.
Yes, bother.
That's why you don't have breakfast. You don't need it.
I know, right? Yeah, it's true.
Personal hygiene.
I'm on the fence.
Be honest.
Bother now. I don't want to bother, but I got to bother. Yeah. Society puts a lot of pressure on me to not smell poorly. Yeah.
Okay. Bother, not bother. Playing hockey.
Bother. Hockey's the best.
Okay. Gardening.
Not bother. No.
You don't have to laugh about
it. I know. I just don't understand it. Like, what are you doing? You got these, just let them grow. Just leave it be.
One more.
Love farmers, by the way. They're good people.
Good people. Your wife, Julie. Hi, Julie.
What do you bother with?
You bother Julie all the time.
I bother Julie all the time.
Yeah,
yes,
that's why she loves you.
Yes, I guess.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's get to the serious stuff. You started your own business, Split Tree Cocktail.
I did.
When did you start at? And you had a steady job before this, or you were working in like aerospace designing?
I was actually a rocket scientist at one time. No, I was working in high tech for sure, but I was not aerospace.
You designed flight simulators.
I love your version of it. No, I designed the terrain databases that flight simulators used.
From designing flight simulators to designing flights of cocktails. How did we get here? Why did you bother?
Perfect segue, Gareth. Well done. Why did I bother? You sort of reach a point when you have that opportunity, like we were laid off from a high tech job where you've been doing for forever, that you just take it as an opportunity to do a complete 180, do something completely different. And I just thought, I'm going to do something I actually enjoy. I've always been creative, loved working with food, working with fresh ingredients and that kind of thing. And cocktail parties have always been my favorite. I've never been a beer guy, never been a wine guy. I always loved a good cocktail. So I just took it as an opportunity to do something different. And I saw, at the time, there was definitely a niche. There was very little happening in that market where people were actually using whole fresh ingredients, creating something that was, unique and delicious. Everything was very, very artificial and very overly sweet and quite frankly, gross. So the other alternative was do it all yourself by hand. Or, maybe someone needed to make a product that did all the hand zesting and juicing and stuff and prep for you. And all you had to do was open the bottle and you knew you were getting something good and natural out of it.
And you did it. Despite your poor work ethic, your mixes are phenomenal. They taste amazing. They're really easy to use. They're one of the stories I like to tell customers the most, because you get to feel like you're a great cocktail maker. You make a fancy cocktail for your guests and they're like, "Ooh, how did you do this?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, I worked really hard."
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole point, right? Like you can still get that quality drink without doing all the work, but you can, it can go both ways. You can actually use these in much more complex cocktails if you so desire, but the average person just wants something quick and simple, but they want to know that it's good and it's natural and it's not, full of dyes and colors and artificial flavors and sweeteners. And so that's where we come in.
Yeah. And they're very concentrated too. So each bottle, you're not adding a lot of like water in there to waste packaging. Or make it look bigger than it is like in the store shelf.
Gareth, that's a bit of a pet peeve of mine because it's not a concentrate. Okay, a concentrate is something that's been boiled down and simmered off. These are just they are very flavorful, is what we would say. And you're right, we do not need to use a lot of them, but nothing is boiled down. That sour mix is 100% fresh pressed lime juice and lemon juice, and we put some yuzu in there. We don't add anything but the zest and some sugar, and that's it. So that's that. I mean, you get those strong flavors because you're using actual flavors of the fruit that has that flavor. So you're not adding lime flavor, you're not adding lime concentrate, you're adding actual lime juice, and it makes a huge difference. The real deal. You got it.
Fresh off the fruit. Yeah. And now I know concentrate is like a technical term that can be offensive.
Absolutely. We're not getting a frozen can of concentrate orange juice out of our freezer and dumping it in. We are using fresh oranges.
Good to know.
Yeah.
What is something you do in your business the hard way that you could do easier? And why do you still choose to do it, quote unquote, the hard way?
Well, I mean, exactly what I just said. We use whole fresh ingredients. It's the hard way. Nobody does that. Everyone buys giant barrels of lime concentrate and reconstitutes them with water or other things. We do it the hard way because the end product is worth it. So, anyone could, what I do is not terribly complicated in the sense that anyone could do it. It's time consuming and it's difficult to scale up at a production level, but it makes the world of difference in the flavor and the final product. Like there's no barrier to entry to this if you're willing to do it properly, but you have to be willing to do it properly and take that extra time, that extra step, and really put an effort into it, despite my poor work ethic.
And so that was how you started. Have you hit barriers along the way? You said it's hard to scale. Have there been moments of weakness where you're like, oh, maybe I just mix in a little bit of this?
You can get that, but I mean, the nice thing about the artisanal world is you just say, look, we couldn't get that product. It's not it's not the season. It's not the time. We have to wait, and you just say we would wait. I can't fill that order right now because right now there was a massive crop failure of vanilla, and trying to get vanilla was almost impossible. And if you could get it, it was a small fortune. So stuff like that, we're just like, we're not making ginger vanilla right now. We've got to wait for the crops to recover because we're not going to put something artificial in there. It's just, there's no point.
So on the flip side of the hard way, we're going to do something we like to call
the cost of convenience.
Why did I sign up for this?
What is something you or someone else might do the easy way? Take the convenient road. And I mean, it's not hard to come up with an example in a world full of convenience, but is there hidden cost to that?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. One of my sort of mantras or ideas of how to run a business was don't do stuff that just because you can do it, if you can't do it properly. Anything that you can outsource and save yourself a ton of time and get a much better quality product, such as your marketing, your advertising. If it's not your strength, if it's not something you feel comfortable doing, oftentimes at the beginning you have to do absolutely everything regardless, right? So you find you're not hitting.
You don't have the marketing budget.
No, you don't, exactly, and you don't have the expertise to do it, but you got no choice, so you do your best you can. But once you're in a position to maybe outsource some of that stuff that you feel someone could do a better job of for a better price, by all means.
All right. And what would be a cost associated with that? Obviously,
they're going to charge you for their work and their time. But I mean, you just balance that against with what's the return on investment there? Like, are you going to get to reach thousands of more people, or are you going to have to stick with your little poster you're sticking up on the fence post or whatever?
Yeah. I'm hitting one at a time, handing out brochures.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break for ending our first segment here, and we'll come back with more from Steve at Split Tree Cocktail. And thank you for tuning in and watching. Please like and share the podcast so we can grow with you fine people. Thanks, Steve, for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're still here with Steve from Split Tree Cocktail Company.
Unfortunately, yes, you're still here with me.
Holding him hostage against his will, answering all of our tough questions for you listeners and viewers. And let's get into a fun fact about the cocktail industry. Where does the word cocktail even come from? So I looked this up. The word cocktail originated with horse owners in like the 1700s, they would place a ginger suppository into a horse's bum to make it cock its tail, which made it appear lively and healthy for a potential buyer. How does that even turn into a drink?
I don't think you go directly from the horse's anus to a drink in your hand. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's the natural transition. Yeah. But
flavorful bum ginger. Yeah,
that's right.
But I think what they told me on Google is
flavorful.
Then adding ginger to like beer.
Now, was it the horse's ginger or was just fresh ginger now? Because I'm going to have to redo my whole ginger vanilla recipe if I need to start getting it into horses' bums first.
So somehow that transition of cocktail for selling a horse became cocktail for making a drink more lively.
Lively libation. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Any comments about this controversial origin of the word cocktail?
I don't think there's anything else we can add to that brilliant discussion. I think for everyone's sake, we move on. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. You're welcome for that mental picture.
It is a true story though, apparently. Yeah. You didn't just make it up.
Let's talk about the origin of Split Tree Cocktail Company. Where did the name come from? Where does the tree logo come from?
Yeah. Well, in my transition from being a aerospace engineer, as you so eloquently described it, although I'm not a flight simulator designer. I had a stint working as a beer rep, and I traveled to and fro through the city and outskirts. And on one of my journeys to Dunrobin, there was a tree in the middle of a field all by itself, split right down the middle. It was just this really cool, weird looking tree. And I thought it was winter. I thought, well, just this neat tree that for whatever reason resonated with me. And then on one of my return trips in the spring, it was actually in full bloom, all green again. And I thought, there was just I don't know why, it was like a nice metaphor for, not judging a book by its cover, but also seeing the resiliency of nature and, seeing this split tree right down the middle, full and green, and I don't know why, it just resonated with me. And I said, if I ever start my own company, which I was thinking about at the time, that's going to be my logo. That's going to be my name.
I love it. Yeah. Very cool origin story. And now when I'm driving out that way to Dunrobin, I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for a split tree. And it is a great name. Yeah. Love it.
Thank you.
Talk about local business. You are a small local business. Obviously, you've grown over the years too. Why do you shop and support local businesses? Do you even bother?
Yeah. No, it's funny. One thing, having just started up my own store and you're sort of sourcing products from all over the place, this may not be, a lot of people shop local just because it's a nice thing to do. You're supporting local communities, you're supporting local makers, but honest to God, it's convenience. Dealing with a local maker is so much easier than dealing with some multinational giant corporation or even just someone overseas who's a small business, but is hard to deal with. Local makes your life 1,000 times easier. They deliver when they say they're going to deliver. They have reasonable pricing. They have a quality product. Like, it's just convenience for more than anything. And I love the idea, obviously, of supporting someone local. That's what we want to do. But as a business owner, from one business owner to the other, it's just nice to deal with people who are on the same wavelength as you, the same level, and get what you're trying to achieve and want to help you achieve that. So,
and you matter to them. You're actually 100%, an important customer as opposed to just like
exactly. Just another person number on the spreadsheet that it orders from them constantly. Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
So you must use as many local suppliers as possible.
I try my best. As a lot of the times, there's no local person making barware. There's no local glass makers. You know what I mean? So it's about finding local ingredients that I can bring in and local products that I can bring in. A lot of them are consumables, which I love. That's sort of my wheelhouse. So I love sourcing food products from local makers and
for your mixes. Is there anything in your mixes that's pretty hyper local that's actually farmed in the region or in Ontario?
Some of the stuff, there's no local lime producers, you know what I mean? But rhubarb and elderflower, I know, right? I tried. They die every winter. But we get all our rhubarb from Quebec. It's just one of those product crops that comes in. A lot of our elderflower is local as well. Our black currants come from BC. Cool. Yeah, so we do our best, and it's just a matter of finding the right producer. But for me, it's about finding makers that complement what I'm doing. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an ingredient that I'm going to use in my mix, but if you can put like a nice chutney or a pepper jelly or something that going to go in your Caesar, you find that maker. And am I allowed to say maker? I'm going to say Sarah from Top Shelf Preserves is awesome.
Yes. Shout out to Sarah. Top Shelf is great.
Yeah. So she provides a lot of cool stuff. Michael Dolce makes some nice chai stuff and some other things. There's so many makers locally that are doing cool things that I'm do my best to incorporate. I just find sometimes as a sole proprietor, you're just stretched so thin and trying to,
like source things.
My God, source things and manage the store, manage this, manage that. Like, it's just, I don't know how you are when you first started, but I feel like you walk over to do one thing and then you got 17 things in your mind and you end up not finishing that thing. And then you're over here doing something else that you're not finishing. And so it's a difficult balance.
You mentioned your store. You took the crazy plunge into retail. And a little backstory, when we opened Maker House and we connected to carry your products, you told me that you had this idea first. You said, I was going to open
did take my space. I remember that.
Store right beside the LCBO in Hintonburg. And you were like, this close to signing a lease. Not really, but...
No, I wasn't. I'd considered it.
You thought we had a good chance of success because of that location. You were looking at that for retail. Flash forward to... about
9 years. 9 years. Yeah.
Okay. Now you've opened the Split Tree Cocktail Shop.
Correct.
And it's located in Wellington Village, Westboro.
98J Richmond Road. Come through the arches. Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Beautiful shop in one of the newer kind of condo buildings there. Tell us why you took the plunge and give a little plug for the store.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was totally crazy at the time, but no, I think as long as I'd been making this product, always in the back of my mind, I wanted my own retail store. I knew Ottawa was missing something like that. They had no sort of cocktail centric store. I know some of the bigger cities, and especially Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, they've all got something focused on cocktails and home entertaining.
The Emporium in Toronto, I think.
Cocktail Emporium. You got Alambica in Montreal. I forget the name of the one in Vancouver off the top of my head. But yeah, we had them, and Ottawa had nothing. And I knew that we needed it. So it was just one of those things been living in the back of my head and percolating for years and years and years. So I knew being Ottawa, the market, it's a bit different. Ottawa is its own market. Like, they really are. They're different than a Toronto, than a Montreal. So I wanted to make sure I could bring in as many different sort of revenue streams or attractions, so to speak, that would bring in more people. So I had the workshop space where we hold cocktail classes.
Beautiful workshop space.
They're super fun. I've got a very talented and passionate bartender, Jesse Bailey, who comes in and runs these workshops. You get to touch everything, shake everything, make a mess, enjoy a drink, have a snack. It's a ton of fun. Then on the other side, I've got the retail store where I have everything you need for home entertaining, for making your own charcuterie, although we do make charcuterie for you if you need it.
Take home.
Take home. And then I've got a kitchen space where we can do sort of one-offs and seasonal things that will be in-store only kind of thing. So awesome. It's a ton of flexibility, ton of versatility. It's a lot of fun.
Just opened late 2022, right
6
before
months.
The holidays.
Yep.
So check it out this year when you're in the Wellington and Westboro area.
Island Park and Richmond Road.
Amazing. Yeah. And I'm proud of you for taking the plunge, because it was a long time percolating, like you said, and it's a big leap. And it's scary because you open the doors and, it's definitely slow at first and you're not sure what to expect. So I'm happy to hear it's going well. And hopefully with our, tens of listeners and watchers, you will get a little
spread the word.
Yeah. Check them out.
Absolutely.
So thanks for sharing your story about how you got into cocktail mixes, into your store. Thanks for not naming it Shaker House as you...
I really was going to,
Yeah, you did make that move.
Although I see the space right beside you for rent. I'm going to put it in there, put mini Shaker House right beside it.
I dare you.
Yeah, I will.
I've already sent you the legal letters and they will be sent again.
Please do. Yeah.
And we're going to take a quick break. Then we'll be back for our final segment with Steve from Split Tree Cocktail Company. Thanks for listening, watching. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Steve from Split Tree Cocktail Company, talking about why creative makers do things the hard way. And we're going to have some fun. We've got Jerky from our friends at Prizm Foods in Mississauga. We sell a few different flavors. So I brought the Korean barbecue and the Carolina Inferno, a little bit spicy there.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like it.
Let's have at her. I did text you to ask you if you like beef jerky this morning.
I do. Who doesn't like beef jerky? It's great.
Can't go wrong.
This will be great.
So here, grab yourself a piece of Korean barbecue. And for the people who are listening, we do have a couple plates here with each flavor and the bags.
You wait till the 30-minute mark to suddenly do descriptive audio.
This is it.
For those of you listening, we're sitting at a table.
We're here in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Nice wood natural table.
That's actually really good. Not too chewy, not too squishy.
The texture's
perfect.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
texture's important in jerky.
It's definitely more like tender than most jerky.
It's just not gas station jerky, that's for sure. No. I love Korean barbecue.
Good flavor. Okay, that was the easy one.
That was the easy one. Yeah, now I'm nervous.
Time for Carolina Inferno.
I feel like my colon is already blocking up. I'm inferring that there's Carolina Reaper in here, but this looks like just chili peppers.
Let's see. Let me take a.
Yeah, Jerky and Group. There's no way this is Carolina.
I don't think it's
Reaper.
got Carolina Reaper.
We'd be dead. I'd be like sweating and passed out. Nice smokiness to it, though.
It does have, yeah.
No, very good. Well done, Prizm Foods out of Mississauga, Ontario.
Good work. Now we're going to get back to serious topics.
I understand this is serious.
It is.
Okay.
Very important. We want to learn something. We don't just want to laugh. Okay.
Education.
You're a maker.
I hope so.
An entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share a couple tips for aspiring makers or aspiring business leaders of what to do, what not to do? What say you?
So this is assuming that I'm some sort of rampant success, whereas I never feel I've reached that level where I should be giving anyone advice. Although the only thing I ever ran my businesses by was try to be as organic as possible in your growth. Don't overextend yourself to the point where you make a mistake, it's catastrophic. So as you grow, you're constantly reinvesting in yourself and in your company. And, there's new opportunities come up with that as your business grows, as your income increases. You're trying to build the growth to a level that you're comfortable and can sustain yourself on. And, you've got to go into, like you said, Facebook ads, or whatever, or
bigger
markets, or you've got to do your research, find out what all that expansion entails and how much money that's going to cost you. And just always look at it. If this goes 100% south, is this going to be catastrophic? And if it is, then maybe it's not quite worth the risk and you can find another avenue to go in where you don't have to overextend yourself to the point of collapse if things go south.
Great advice. Don't risk the foundation.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Great advice. What is your biggest hobby or passion outside of work? Clearly, you're not very passionate about your work.
No, I hate it. Yeah.
So, besides this cocktail thing that's kind of dragging you down, what's your biggest hobby or passion?
Well, I've taken on a new hobby, so I don't know if it's my biggest hobby, but going through a midlife crisis now, I've decided I'm going to buy a motorcycle. So I've got a motorcycle that's the exact same age as me, a 1972 Honda CB350.
Classic.
Yeah, that I'm having a local guy do a few tweaks and twerks to it. Tweaks and twerks?
Yeah, adding like nitrogen boosters?
Not nitrogen. I was actually wanting him to slow it down because I'm terrified I'm going to kill myself on it. So that's why I got a 350 instead of like an 1100 or something ridiculous.
So it's got training wheels.
It does have training wheels. It has a governor on it, so it won't go over 40 kilometers an hour. No.
Top of the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, everybody. I'm on my very slow motorcycle. No, it's going to get turned into a bit of an enduro. So we're going to put some dirt bike tires on it. And we're going to ride some of the trails and stuff and cruise around town a little bit.
So motorcycle riding, you may see Steve.
Yeah. Please slow down and give me lots of space. I will be going slow and stalling a lot. And don't hit me with your truck.
Yeah. He's got to go slow because he's going to be doing all sorts of cool motorcycle poses.
Definitely. Yeah. I'll be mostly posing. There'll be no wheelies. There'll be no like brake stands. It'll just be me leaning on my bike like this. Yeah. It's going to be wicked.
With the visor up.
Yeah. Oh, the visor up for sure. Yeah.
That's going to be some great.
But then sunglasses behind my shaded visor. It's going to be
double shades.
Double shades.
Amazing. Let's go into what we call the
point of connection.
Human connection.
Yeah.
In your business. What's the point? How does it relate to your business and life to connect with other humans?
That is a very robust
We're
question.
going deep, man.
We're going deep. Well, it's very interesting because having just gone through a global pandemic where we were often isolated and shut down and, separated from people we loved and friends and family, I've noticed since opening the store that people just want that connect. People looking for a connection with just people for any reason, really. Yeah. But there is that need to connect with someone and friends and strangers. They come together. We hold a little workshop. We have a few cocktails. It immediately turns into a cocktail party, whereas if everybody knows everybody and we're all having a good time, and that connection has been missing, I think, for a long time for people, and we have sorely missed it. And to have this opportunity to come back and get together and just celebrate being out and about and free to do what we want kind of thing has been huge for people. And so that's the biggest connection I've noticed with people. They want to come in, they love talking to you, they love learning about your products and what you're selling, but the opportunity to actually have community and get together is huge.
Right. And probably another great reason to shop local, like you said about your suppliers earlier, it's actually more helpful and convenient because they're a great resource. They can answer your questions. You know that their service standard is going to be high.
100%. And if you need something, it's not like you don't have to wait for it to arrive. You can just go get it, or a lot of people do local delivery. So it's, And your customers at your store and our store are looking for more than a product. Well, we're still pushing your store, are we? Only been around 7 years. I buy 6 months, but let's talk about you.
You can find all Split Tree cocktail flavors at the Split Tree Cocktail Emporium. And
Split Tree Cocktail Emporium.
Did I get it wrong?
Yeah. I hate you. Split Tree Cocktail Shop, 98J Richmond Road.
Amazing. They're looking for more than just a cocktail mix. They want to connect with the story, and through your workshops, I love that they connect with other people and they share those interests.
Yeah.
What's the big focus for you right now this year? Where can people find you as well?
My biggest focus right now is jumping through the bureaucratic hoops so that I can get a liquor license. And that will give us a ton of freedom to do a whole bunch of new and fun ideas I have percolating in the back of my head. It's been a grind. It's unbelievable the hurdles they throw into the way of small businesses and the duplicity of effort for us to go through is pain in the butt, but we're getting there. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're coming across the finish line any minute now, I'm hoping. And that's my biggest goal. And then we can do a whole bunch of fun stuff down the road.
Amazing. And talk about hoops. I know when you were setting up your space, you ran into every possible hurdle. You had to install plumbing in that space because it was a new build and they didn't really rough in the plumbing.
They roughed in nothing. Yeah.
You
Power.
had to put sprinklers in, and then there was not just one flood. How many floods?
We had two. Well, two significant floods. One other smaller one.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
so just like awesome. A bonus flood.
Totally. Yeah, exactly.
Talk about going through your trials to get your doors open, and now you're going through the bureaucratic process to get your liquor license. So I really hope the rewards are there for you. I'm sure they will be because people want what you're producing.
I hope so. Yeah, I think
offering.
So. Yeah.
And you're going to be there for a long time.
We are. Till I die. I'll die in that store.
So find him at the Split Tree Cocktail Shop. Address?
98J Richmond Road.
And online at
splittree.ca.
And on Instagram.
Split Tree Mixers.
And on TikTok.
Split Tree Mixers.
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you. And
I don't post there very often, but I mean to. I have good intentions.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. You're really good at the talk part. I don't know about the tick.
Yeah.
We also have, for people who are listening.
That doesn't make any.
Does it?
I see what you're saying. I got you now. Gotcha.
No,
yeah. You're just spelled TALK wrong.
That's right. See
I got you. You're smart.
For those who are listening, if you tune in on YouTube, you get to see. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if anyone's still there at the end of the episode, we have a relic here from the original launch of Split Tree. It is the tonic number 3 that started it all.
Started it all. Tonic number 3. This was my first crack at marketing and advertising and logo design and all that good stuff. And It was funny. Very early on, I got some advice that try not to make it look like it's a haunted product. And so this is a very haunted looking product. Like I got crows on my creepy tree.
That was your feedback.
I was like, unless you're only selling this in Halloween, maybe mix it up a little bit. So we've got the newer logo design over there where it's a little more fresh and bright and vibrant.
40% less creepy than it used to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And 100% tasty. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And thanks for supporting local biz.
Tell all your friends.
We'll see you next time.